Today is the day. We know many of you guys are excited, so we'll actually keep this episode short so that you guys can retain some of your attention span for the Apple keynote. But we'll jump right into what we've got here. And first of which is more of a, well, quote unquote, goes without saying. But as we expected, Apple is to release the USB-C ported AirPods Pro 2s today. We also expect that during one of the Apple events in 2024 that the AirPods Max and regular AirPods will be released with USB-C as well.
Good.
Which I know that's not exactly a surprise, as we should anticipate all of Apple's mobile products to convert to USB-C before the end of 2024 with the EU. So, I mean, it's not really like anything out of the ordinary, but it's something worth noting, something to look forward to, that we're at least getting some confirmation and rumors down the pipeline. But either way, I'm sure you probably don't have too much in response to that, but there it is.
Yeah, no, just the whole idea of it, it just still shocks me that we've waited this long. And even some devices still don't have USB-C. We're waiting until that next year. So
I know. It's kind of funny because I'm like, why would you? I feel like AirPods should have been like the first thing, because it's not as if there's anything amazing about having Lightning on the AirPods.
Right.
So why just not get it into the mainstream of charging interfaces? So I don't know. It's just one of those things. But in any case,
right?
Yeah, that's exactly. It'll always be that until we finally get everything converted.
Absolutely. So on the 10th, the Surface Duo received its last and final update on Android 12L.
Yes.
Not a whole lot really to say here. It's just one of those devices that will be lost to the ages. I doubt Microsoft will ever release another Duo just based on how well the community responded to it. And I know both you and I are not really too keen on this particular device, so I'm not really sad about it, mainly because I had nothing to be sad for. So
now, was that, you said, is that the original Duo or was that Surface Duo 2? I'm guessing it would be the original because I feel like it would be too soon for that.
Yeah, it's a Surface Duo. So the 2 is still going to have updates, but we're starting to get onto that line of the second one. It'll probably end 13 or 14, I assume, but on Android 13 or 14. But yeah, another one bites the dust.
Yeah, I like the idea of the Surface Duo. I just don't know. I think we've talked about this to some extent. It's just, I feel like there could have been something done better or more to it, but
they could have made it much better.
Yeah.
I feel they could, but they just
I don't know.
didn't.
Maybe it will be one of those situations where Microsoft will actually listen to the consumer base and, evolve the product and get better. I mean, wouldn't that be ironic, a company actually doing that? You hear about other companies like OnePlus, or especially Nothing, that listens to the consumer base and tries to improve. And I don't know. Once you get into that billion trillion dollar club, it's kind of like
marketing stuff.
Who cares about the consumer? We'll just they'll buy it, right? So
exactly, that's what Tim Cook said.
Right, exactly. So, but moving on, next in line here, we have another event that's kind of quietly passing through, right below our noses actually, which is the Nintendo Direct event. And we hear rumblings that we could very possibly have a sneak peek of the next gen Switch. Now, we have seen rumors of a Nintendo Focus, lower end model, and a Switch 2 or Switch Premium that could be in the mix. Yeah. We really don't find those rumors to be credible, so we'll have to wait and see on that. I'm kind of just surfacing that part there, just for you guys to be aware of. But we also have some rumors that the Switch 2 will come with 12 gigs of RAM, as well as ray tracing. And that could actually add quite a bit of immersive experience for gamers, because just the way that ray tracing works and kind of how you're going through the games, I feel like that could add another level of intrigue. So
we do this sometimes, not often, but just based on the specs we know and now about the possible Switch 2, how much do you think it's going to cost?
I don't know. We've actually had some rumors on that as well. They were talking about how like the Focus would be like $400, and then the premium would be like $430 or $450. As far as
I was thinking $400 or so.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. It's hard to kind of speculate, just because, I mean, obviously we have some upgrades with 12 gigs of RAM and some added rendering and real time engine and such. So yeah, I guess I would stick around there. Maybe 400 would kind of hurt me if it was like 450 or something like that. But hey, this is inflation stages here, so it very well could be a little bit higher than we want it to. So
yeah, and also you have to think maybe the hype built around it, if there is any. You could see that going to maybe 450 or 500, just based upon they haven't really released a real original Switch, other than maybe the Lite and then the OLED, in like several years. So I don't know, 400 to 500. I think 500 is my max. If they go beyond that, I think that's just ridiculous. But yeah, 400 minimum.
Actually, kind of, because I believe this was on an article or YouTube or something. I can't remember exactly where I saw this, but it would be ironic if they had that premium console termed the Super Nintendo Switch or something like that. But I don't know. That might be a little bit too kooky.
The SNS.
Yes. Oh, there you go. I didn't even think of it
funny.
that way. Yes, because there's the SNES and then there's the SNS.
Yeah. Actually, You know what? That would work. I'm there for it. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But the timeline for the theoretical sneak peek would be sometime between yesterday, the 11th, and the 15th. So,
okay.
Not sure if you had anything else to add on or any expectations, but I do know you actually own a couple too.
Yeah, both my wife and I have one. She likes Animal Crossing. I like a lot of Mario games.
She bought a Switch for Animal Crossing?
No, she so her brother and her actually split the price of the Switch.
Oh, okay.
And then her brother's wife had a Switch, so they used that one, and her brother just basically let her have that one. And then I got one from her cousin. So it's really crazy. But yeah, no, she has Animal Crossing. She loves that game.
Gotcha.
And then I'm really big into like all the Mario games and all that stuff.
Yep.
And Subnautica. So.
You still haven't gotten the Switch Sports, have you?
No, every time I go there, I'm like, we have to get this game eventually because I know you have it. I've heard a lot of great things about it, but
yeah, I mean, it's not like this is the bee's knees or anything, but I do really enjoy it. The soccer is definitely one of my favorites as well. So
I didn't know soccer was in there.
Yeah, soccer is really good, especially when you play online. I've gotten up there quite a bit. I don't remember what my ranking is because I haven't played in a while, but it's a lot of fun. So, but in either case, we will. You got a deal for us? Is that right?
Yes, I do. So this is for the Acer Predator Orion 5000 desktop. That's a mouthful right there. This thing is actually packed with a lot of good specs. It's got the Intel i7 1270OF. It's got 16 gigs of RAM, DDR5 memory for that, and then it's got the GeForce RTX 3080, and then 1 terabyte of Gen 4 SSD, and that's a $500 discount going from $2,200 to $1,700.
Oh, okay.
And also you could do, if you wanted, as usual with Best Buy, you can do $141 a month for 12 months. So that's not actually that bad for a pretty solid gaming desktop. So
Now, when you say desktop, is that a tower or is that an all-in-one? I don't believe they make all-in-ones.
It's a tower.
Okay, that's what I thought. I didn't think they made all-in-ones, but I was just kind of curious because the way it was described. But yeah, $500. That's a nice discount right there. And then we got the Hisense 65-inch 4K QLED smart TV. It's over $300 off, down to $728. So it's not the highest end, but it's a middle range right there for those of you guys who just want to get in on the big game day. I can't really speak to the quality of Hisense. I know they're kind of like a low to mid level brand when it comes to TVs, but there you go.
Speaking of game day, I just want to say I am so proud of
I knew this was coming.
Fourth in NFL history, fourth in line, I guess you could say, to do the most passing yards for the first start of the game. Just want to say, pretty proud of that guy. He really came through against the Chargers. But anyway.
Goodness. I had to hear it all day long on Sunday. So anyway, yeah, my Broncos lost, so I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Anyway, yeah, but moving on here, back to our news here. So about a month or so ago, we actually discussed some rumors regarding the OnePlus 12. Well, we now have some visual leaks, and I think there were some leaks July, but I think we missed them. One thing that people are noticing a lot is this fourth sensor that's added with the main 3 camera sensors that we had on the 11.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the leaked renders seem to indicate more of a sandstone finish rather than a smooth gloss back that was on the 11 as well. So a slight change there, it seems. And now I can't remember.
Now to clarify, I think it was on the, I want to say something like an emerald green or something like that they did have the gloss back. The black one did have a sandstone, so
okay,
it seems like they might stick with that or possibly have something similar to it.
I must have misread that. Okay.
Oh no, that's okay. I just remember that when I tested out the 11. So
Okay, cool. Something to note there. Now, I can't remember, maybe you can help me remember, if we mentioned that the Snapdragon 8th Gen 3, was that rumored to be on the...
We might have had that in passing. I don't remember. We've had quite a few OnePlus rumors, so.
Yeah, but that's said to be on the 12, which you can already tell that will add a pretty penny to this device. Other than that, it is expected to be released possibly in December. However, as the article indicates, and as we expect, we'll have to wait a couple months for the global release. So I would say I am not excited. I am intrigued by how they changed this, because we noticed with the 11, they tried to bring it back to the consumer to, stuff that they actually wanted. We talked a little bit about that in this episode, where when a consumer, lets a company know, hey, we really want this stuff, and then the company does that, that lets you know that the actual company really cares about, their user base. So hopefully we see a lot more of that in this 12. It's possible they might. They've really been going on that road there. So I don't know if you have any thoughts about this particular device, but that's pretty much all
Are you saying that they should bring back? Or just in general?
Well, actually, now that you ask, I really do like the pop-up camera on the 7. Because you have that phone all the time, and every time I see that, it's just such a good feature, and I hate that they got rid of it. Also, fingerprint ID, that would be something.
On the power button?
Yeah, that'd be something amazing.
I was going to say, because it is on the glass, so you have that. Yeah, it's just not on the power button.
I just 100% agree with you. The 7 Pro was like the top tier of the OnePlus series so far, and if they did that again with this one, or even made just like a base version, and then this would be the Pro or something, it's just, I would love that. But,
yeah, that's, I don't know.
Hard to tell.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I think a lot of it has to do with the sensors and stuff. So in theory, selfie cameras, if we'll just take a moment here, selfie cameras don't really provide a whole lot of quality, but they should be somewhat presentable. Really. Yes, to kind of give you that, especially when you don't have something like a flip or a fold that can provide higher quality sensors pointing directly back at you. That said, I don't know if I'd actually shoot for the pop-up again. I still have the 7 Pro, so I like the pop-up, and I like the fact that the screen is, as close as you can get to 100% screen-to-body ratio, at least at that day and age. Right. But yeah, I'm okay with the punch hole design. It's not really been an issue for me. I can see where you're coming from, though, because it was one of those things that kind of made you ooh and ah, and at the same time it was functional. Yep. So it was a gimmick, sure, but I felt like it was executed properly, and to this day I've still never had an issue with that pop-up camera. It's worked flawlessly. So
that's great.
Not sure if anybody else has had that, as far as those of you guys who've owned that phone out there as listeners. But for me, it's been a really good phone, and I have very little to complain about it, even after all these years of using it as a sideshow smartphone. So, but outside of that, the other thing that you have to keep in mind that I feel like they did a good job at is bringing back the slider on the 11. So you can definitely tell that they're honing in on what people are complaining about. Yeah. The question is how much of a premium product they want this to be. Obviously, the Gen 3 is enough to elicit that this is going to be a premium product, but they did scratch out the wireless charging on the 11. So that's something to kind of bear in mind. Like, what corners are they going to cut to maintain that previous era, I would say, as far as what you were alluding to with the 7 Pro. Yep. The one thing I would kind of compare real quick is I feel like the 11 really did a good job of bringing back that 7 Pro feel as far as cost and just that overall product. Yeah. And we've kind of talked about that in the past of how is that really something that OnePlus should be shooting for nowadays with the big dogs, and what kind of components they should bring in and features. So we'll have to wait and see as far as that's concerned. I have heard quite a few. I like how the kind of weird. I like how the flash is up on the far left hand corner outside of the lens frame.
Yeah, that is a little bit interesting. Isn't it?
It's funny because I'm sure it had to do with functionality and internal build, but I would have found it more apropos to put it directly in the middle of all 4 lenses. So that's just little thing there, but I don't think it really necessarily matters. So,
no, not really.
With that, we will actually close out with this topic here. And this is just more of some recap news and a little bit of some refinement on rumors for today's event with Apple. Mm-hmm. First of all, the iPhone 15 Pro Max should be the only one that sees a price increase. I know there's been a lot of rumors lately of both Pros are going to get the price increase. And we haven't, I don't think neither of us have brought that up on this show. I think we've heard it.
No, we haven't.
So that's kind of something we've held back on. It's just kind of ironic because I did it intentionally because I wasn't really entirely sure. And Riley, you didn't even bring it up either. So I'm not sure if there was a reasoning there. But
no, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah. So the 15 Pro Max, that should come in at an extra $100. So that'll be $11.99 is what we're anticipating. And for some of you probably listening to this and you're seeing notifications pop up on your phone from CNET or whoever and finding out that that's true, which I'm sure that probably is going to hold strong. And the 15 Pro should stay at 1,000. So like I said, that's the high one is going to be the only one that changes, which I'm happy about.
Oh, me too. I'm not getting it, but
yeah, I didn't think there was really a need for it. For the Max, the price increase is largely due to the addition of the periscope zoom lens. That's kind of where that takes its hit. Now, there's also news that the Pros will get 2 more gigs of RAM, capping out at 8 gigs. So
I think we did discuss that one rumor, yeah.
Yeah. However, there is the conflicting rumor that doesn't make sense. The price for the Pro Max will increase. However, there is still some uncertainty as to whether or not the 128 will actually be omitted. Now, we've talked about this. We actually cited rumors in the past stating that the 256 would be the new base. Especially for the Pro series.
Right.
But some last minute hints point towards keeping the 128 around for another year. I'm going to come out and say it. Apple would be 100% greedy if they go that route of pricing increase and still keeping the same base storage for the Pro Max specifically.
That would be stupid.
Paying $1,200 for 128 instead of something that used to be 256 is insane. Like, why would you do that?
No excuse for that.
There isn't. So I don't get that part. That was the one thing that kind of just set me on edge. So
yeah, even if you take in consideration possible inflation, it's just like you're already increasing 100 anyway. There's just no point in it. I mean,
I know, and it's just storage, and I can't imagine that storage is actually going to cost you that much that you need to include that with the $100 increase. Just right. Aside from the fact that we've already talked about ProRes and everything like that and video capabilities and how much space that takes up, why would you even consider keeping around the 128?
Exactly.
Just blows my mind. So I'm not sure if you had any thoughts on any of those recapping rumors or refinements there, but yeah.
No, actually, there was another thing. I don't know if this is true, although I read an article today that some of the colors.
Yes.
Well, we could discuss the colors too, but the color cables. There was an article that said that may not actually happen.
Oh, okay. So the color coordinating cables to the actual devices won't match. They might not.
The actual color may not happen, and honestly. While I would love, and again, we're not getting it, but if I were to get it, it would be nice if there was a color connection there, color correlating charger there, but honestly, it wouldn't really make a difference to me if there wasn't, as long as the charger and possibly the brick is in there. That's all I really care about.
I actually ran across an article myself where they were talking about how employees are going to be emphasizing USB-C bricks. So clearly that's a hint that they're not going to be with the phone, which we wouldn't really expect them to go backwards on this.
No.
That was more of just a wish from Riley.
Apple going back and actually putting charging blocks in their boxes? Wow.
Yeah.
What is this, 2018 Apple?
I know. And I think part of that is just because they want to ensure the consumer can use the cables inside of the phone in case they're coming from like USB-A.
Oh, I see. Yeah, aside from that, there was those color rumors, which seems to be correct. You got like the light blue, sort of light pinkish, I think, and then some different grays, some blacks, white one or whatever. So and there were some people that were actually saying that these colors are but I actually kind of like them.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that factors into that is I'm wondering how many of these people actually use cases that are complaining about the colors. Because that's something that I feel like would feed into. Like, if you're going to complain about this, at least, don't buy a case.
Right.
But
I know everyone always says that, like, they never like the colors of the phone. It's like, okay, then just get a case. What's your problem?
yeah. So either you're one that typically uses a case, or you can just easily buy one and, have that, suit your needs. And I'm sure that some of those will probably be pretty thin as well. You can definitely get some thin ones that provide some decent protection to your basic drops and whatnot. So, but to actually quick reply back to your statement about the cables, here's the thing. I actually would prefer color on the cables, and here's the reason why.
Okay.
I don't want it to be white. I've talked about how braided cables tend to get dirty quicker. White would just accentuate that. So to have a little color might help with that being dirty. So that's why I would have actually hoped that this would have been the case. And I'm still hoping that. And maybe the rumors will, I don't know. You're listening right now, and then maybe that might change. So
okay. I feel like, and I've had experience with braided cables, they still get pretty dirty, even if the color.
They do. I'm not discrediting that.
White would gain more. That's true.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I feel like white would do it actually more. So if you were someone who would buy, and maybe here's what I would say. Maybe the rumor is alluding to the base models maybe not getting color coordinated. I feel like the pros should. That's my opinion. I don't know.
Well, right there, I'd have to disagree with you again, because they're already getting rid of the fact that you won't have Thunderbolt speeds on the base models. I feel like they should at least give us the color ones.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm coming from the Apple mindset.
Yeah,
though.
Coming from the Apple mindset, that's true. Yeah, I got to think in their ways, their reasoning, their market.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's where I'm coming from on that one, and it's kind of a bummer, and I just would hope that they would at least have it for one of the series, and if it's going to be, it's likely going to be the pros. But anyway, the last thing is really nothing of a high mark, but it sounds like they're actually going to get rid of, speaking of cases, the leather cases from the accessory lineup. Yep. So I know that's not a big, huge thing, but for some people, they actually do like the leather cases, and I owned one for my 11 Pro, and I did enjoy the leather. That was a nice case that I had. So I'm not sure if you had any in the past, but
no, I've never actually. I don't know if it was necessarily leather, but remember your iPod 5th Gen Touch?
Yeah,
I did have this yellow case. It was a wallet case, and I think, if I'm correct, it did actually have some leather in it. And I know Dad's iPhone 5. He had a brown leather case, and I think it was a sort of a clip around. So yeah, I've actually had leather cases before, not like the ones that you've had or that Apple actually makes themselves, but I have experience with those. They're okay. I like them.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm sure there's probably gonna be some that miss it, but I always feel like if you're gonna buy cases, you might as well just go on Amazon, because Apple is just way too darn expensive. Unless you can afford it and take the hit, I just don't see the reason why you need to go online with Apple. With all that being said, that wraps up this week's episode. I'm sure you guys will enjoy the Apple keynote, and we're excited for all the products that are going to be released here in the coming weeks. But this is JD and Riley, and we will catch you guys in the next one.
Peace out.